Okay, cool. Do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Good morning. My name is Sister Mary Ann. I am a sister servant of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, otherwise known as the IHM Sisters, and I am currently serving as one of the vocation directors for our congregation.
Okay, so how did you find your vocation?
Well, it happened kind of gradually. I can think of, my first sense of being called to be a sister was when I was in 8th grade, and I went to St. Pius X grade school in Broomall. And when I was there, I had a sister in 8th grade who was very inspiring to me. She was a little different than the other sisters that I had had in the past. She was kind of cool and fun and funny and holy all at the same time. And I just was so struck by that beautiful person that she was. And I thought, wow, I really want to be like her when I grow up. And then when I, also in 8th grade, there was a sister who came, an IHM sister who came, and she was stationed in Peru. She's American, but she was working in one of our missions in Peru. And she showed us some beautiful pictures of the work that the sisters were doing down there to help the poor children and their families. And I was just so inspired by her, and I really began to think and pray, that I wanted to do something that would help people, some good in this world. So that was my initial feeling that God was calling me. Now that kind of came and went throughout the next several years. After I graduated from 8th grade at St. Pius, I came here to O'Hara, and at the time that I went to high school here, my freshman class was over 800 people. So I'm going from a little grade school of like 90 kids to 800 kids. So, there are a lot of people to meet, a lot of new friends to make, a lot of activities to get involved in, and parties and dances to go to. So, the idea of being a sister seemed a little boring to me all of a sudden. So I loved O'Hara, I loved high school. But every once in a while, the idea of being a sister would pop into my head. I'd be in the middle of class, and I'd be thinking, oh, I wonder what it's like to be a sister. Or I'd be at a dance, or I'd be hanging out with my friends, and I'd be thinking, I wonder what the sisters are doing tonight. And every time that happened, I thought, oh, this is crazy. Why am I thinking about this? And I tried to fill my mind with other stuff and get busy doing other things so I wouldn't have to think about it. So fast forward, now I am a junior in high school, and as many juniors do, I was beginning to think about what college I wanted to go to. And so I went back and I had to drop something off at St. Pius to one of my younger sisters. And so I thought, let me go visit my favorite 8th grade teacher. So I stopped by and I just popped in to say hello, and we got talking. And so this sister asked me what colleges I was thinking of going to. And I said, well, maybe Villanova or St. Joe's. And she asked me if I ever thought about going to Immaculata. And I said, well, I'm not sure. At the time, Immaculata was all girls, so an all-women's college. So I remember saying to her, Immaculata's all girls, and I like boys, and I don't know if I'd really like it there. So she said, well, why don't you just go and check it out? So I dragged my best friend along, and we went for a college visit. And for those of you who don't know, Immaculata is run by the IHM Sisters. So when I went to this college visit, even just driving onto the beautiful campus, I just felt this sense of, wow, this feels so right. This feels like where I'm supposed to be. And then the college visit was great. Everybody was really friendly, really welcoming. So to make a long story short, I ended up going to Immaculata. And then when I got there, I was very, very surprised and happy to find that there were so many sisters, just like my favorite 8th grade teacher, who were just fun and happy and fun to be around and holy. And they just were such a great inspiration to me. At Immaculata, a lot of the sisters live in the dorms, not as like RAs or any kind of authority, but it's just where they live, and which kind of is a little weird, but it actually was very beautiful, because any time that we were up late studying or writing a paper, they'd come out with like snacks and cookies, and so they were just really, really sweet. And I remember being up late doing some kind of project or something, and walking past the chapel, and a couple of the sisters were in there praying just so peacefully and so quietly, and I thought, wow, you know, despite all the noise and busyness going on in campus, they were able to take that time and to, you know, quiet themselves and to make time for prayer, which was so important to them. So anyway, so I'm at Immaculata. I loved college. I loved being away from home. I loved the whole campus life. I had great friends. I was an education major, English education major, so I was excited about student teaching, and I just loved the whole college scene. And I had a very serious boyfriend who I actually dated while I was here at O'Hara, and we got back together in college. So we'd been dating for many years and seriously thinking about family and future together. But every once in a while, I was thinking about being a sister, and it would come up again at weird times during class or hanging out in the dorms or out with my boyfriend or at a party, and I'd be thinking, I wonder what the sisters are doing tonight. And every time that happened, I thought, this is crazy. Why do I keep thinking about this? So I thought, well, let me go talk to one of the sisters and just like get it out of my system. So I went and I talked to one of the sisters in the dorm, and I said, look, I don't know what's going on, but I just can't stop thinking about this. So she encouraged me to call, and she gave me the phone number of our vocation director. So I called her and I thought, okay, this is good. I'll just get it out of my system. I called her. She invited me to come to a retreat, which was coming up. So that's great, good. I'll go to the retreat and just get it done. So I went over to this retreat, and I went to our beautiful mother house, to our beautiful chapel. And when I was there, I just had this flood of grace and this sense of, wow, this is where I'm supposed to be. Now, that didn't solve the problem. I still had a lot of discerning to do, a lot of figuring out to do. And so after that retreat, I thought, okay, now I really need to do some hard work here and to figure out where exactly God is leading me. So I really took some serious steps to making sure I was praying every day, trying to go to daily mass as often as possible, going to those retreats, talking to sisters that I trusted. And so to make a very long story very short, after a lot of discerning, I really felt that God was truly calling me to be a sister. So after I graduated from college, I ended up entering the IHM community that following September.
That's great. What is your favorite part about being a nun?
My favorite part about being a sister, there's so many favorite parts, and I could go on and on and on about all the wonderful parts about being a sister. But I think one of my favorite parts is living in community. Because as a sister, we live together with other religious women who also have this sense of God calling them to give their lives totally to Christ and totally to serving Him by serving others. And the part that I love about living in community is that every day I am inspired by the sisters that I live with. I'm inspired to be a better person. I'm inspired to grow in my faith. I'm inspired to grow in charity. I'm inspired to grow in virtue. And they kind of they inspire me. And hopefully in some small way I inspire them too.
What is life like at Immaculata?
At Immaculata, our mother house?
Yeah.
Where I live with our novices and postulants. So those are the young women who have just begun their journey of becoming a sister. So our house is a place of formation where these young women are learning what it's like to be a sister. So we pray together every morning. We share all our meals together. We explore together what it means to be an IHM sister. We have fun together. We do a lot of fun things together. And then we pray together in the evening. So we share everything together as a community. And it's just a great place of fellowship and support and love.
I'm just going to check to make sure it's still recording.
Okay.
We'll start with the next question.